Howdy folks, it's your friend Fishing with Dom. I'm here at the University of Detroit Mercy, about to go on Thanksgiving break, and today I'm going to share with you a couple of insights that I have when it comes to selecting a dock for fishing. Now, docks are no different than any other piece of structure you might encounter while you're out on the water, but there is a difference when it comes to potential. A dock can either have some, or not have any at all based on a lot of criteria. And this is just a few ideas I'm going to share with you today on what makes one dock better than another. And this is a video I want to put together to help people become more efficient on the water. You can fish all day just hopping different docks and catch so many fish, or you can take a span of 45 minutes throughout the middle of the day, look for particular docks and catch that same amount of fish. It's an efficiency game when it comes to picking and choosing what dock will be better than another. And at the end of the day, more fish in the boat, a happier you can't beat that whatsoever. But first things first, I'm going to tell you this. A lot of these points are going to run hand in hand with each other, which brings us to my first and second points. Docks that are higher off of the water aren't as good as docks that are lower to the water. It provides a lot more sense of structure and cover to the bass hanging out underneath there. If the dock is so much higher off of the surface of the water, it's going to let in a lot more light. It's not going to give the bass a sense of protection and cover like it's looking for in the middle of the day. So you want to find a dock that is relatively close to the surface of the water. I would try to stay about a foot at the most, maybe a little more depending on how you feel the situation needs to be handled. And docks that are in shallower water, now I say shallow very, very loosely, you'd want to say roughly 3 foot, maybe 4 foot and less. Shallower water hold better fish when it comes to bass hanging out in the middle of the summer days. What you want to look for, you want shallower water, roughly that 3 foot, and a dock that is close to the surface of the water. Now, when it comes to boats that are next to docks, there's a lot of debate on whether or not if boats tied to the dock are better than boats on a lift next to the dock. I personally could go either way on it, but in my own experience, I've caught more fish around boats that are tied to docks directly instead of being on lifts, because I believe, especially with pontoon boats, I love fishing pontoon boats because you can skip your baits right underneath them, just like a dock. And when it's tied to the dock, or whether it be a pontoon or speedboat, it acts as an extension. So takes up larger surface area, creates more cover for fish to hang out under. And especially with lifts, in my opinion, with the metal being underwater, it can begin to grow algae, develop bacteria to bring in plankton and bait fish, and larger bait fish like bluegills and perch. And generally speaking, when you get all that going on right there within an ecosystem, the predators are bound to come in, and that's going to bring in your bass that you're going to be looking for. Now, big time. That's just a personal theory I have. I've caught a few fish around lifts, but when it comes to that debate specifically, I would say that docks that have boats tied directly to them produce better because the boat acts as an extension. Now, of course, I'm going to say that docks with fewer reasons to be used are better than docks that are commonly used. If you're looking at association docks, whether it be a country club or a lake association or a condominium, those docks tend to get a lot more foot pressure, a lot more enjoyment from local non-fisher type people, and there probably isn't going to be any bass hanging out around there. If it's a commonly used dock, there's a good chance it's not going to have anything, and it might not be with your time. I see it a lot at state parks. I see it a lot on the Great Lakes, and when I'm seeing docks like that, especially on Lake St. Clair, it's not going to be worth my time. Lake St. Clair is a very unique lake when it comes to docks, I've noticed. They're really high. A lot, on the north end, especially in my own experience, the docks are really high off of the surface of the water, and they're pretty narrow, so they let in a lot of light. But that's neither here or there. Docks that are used a lot, stay away from them. Scare the fish away. Kids will be swimming, people be loading their boats, coming and going. It's not going to be worth it. But I'm not exactly sure the reason behind this next point, but I'll tell you this. I am a firm believer that docks that are on posts produce a lot better than docks that are floating on the surface of the water. And I think that might be because a floating dock is a reflection of movement to the waves on the water, and that might hinder the fish's sense of security when they're hunkered down underneath there in the middle of the day and they feel something moving on top of them. It wouldn't feel comfortable if I was a fish in that opinion, and I was always concerned with, well, what's going on above me. In an evolutionary sense, they're trying to protect themselves, they're trying to stay out of the sun, and most importantly, a lot of the times they're just going around looking for food to eat. So take that into consideration. Docks that are on posts, a lot better than docks that float. And also with posts, you get a lot more structure, because those posts go in. A lot of people around me, they put their docks in sometime in March and April. By the time July hits, there's already algae and plant matter growing around the posts to bring in the bait fish, to bring in plankton, and bass will come around more often. But this is just a quick little video I wanted to do. I just got out of work, decided to throw this together to help y'all when it comes to efficiently fishing and selecting a dock that's really worth your time. So when I'm going out and I'm coming up to a dock, I've got my bait of choice, I'm ready to go out there, I'll look at a dock and I will see that if it is relatively close to the surface of the water, I'm interested. If that water is relatively shallow, like we said, 4 maybe, but right around 3 is perfect. If there's a boat, I'll take it into consideration. Generally speaking, I could tell when the last time the boat had been used. Especially on my home lake, I'm really, really good at remembering when different boats have been out, because a lot of weekenders. But that's a different story. Take boats into consideration. That's the third point. Look for pressure. Is it a public dock? Whose dock is it? Have people been swimming there? Look for toys, look for chairs, look for life jackets, that sort of stuff. And is it a floating dock? That's it. Like, I look at those 5 things right there, and I say to myself, is this going to be worth my time? And if it has at least 3 of those characteristics, I'm going to go over there and check it out. If not, it might be a hard day of fishing before I commit to even start looking at every single dock to see if a fish is hiding out underneath there. But that's just me. These are all just suggestions. I'm not a professional angler by any means, but I fished a lot of docks growing up. I fished with a lot of people who exclusively went around in the middle of the day just to fish docks. And I've caught a lot of fish doing it, but over the years I have realized that there's a difference between a good dock and a bad dock. Well, I actually take that back. There's no such thing as a bad dock, but there are docks with more potential than others. If you have any dock experience that I might have missed out on, maybe I said something wrong, let me know in the comments section below, or holler at me on my social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, @FishingWithDom. I would appreciate it very, very much. Thank you for watching. I couldn't be doing this without any of y'all, the fans. I appreciate every single one of you for the views. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope to see you again. Take it easy. Bye-bye.